Welcome to Super Geeks, where the geeks are super.
And the supers just love to geek out.
Absolutely. We're back again. We're just like straight shooting these ones.
Yeah.
We're
Honestly.
here to just not really talk about trash. What if? Marvel's what if?
Yeah, alright.
I mean,
let's get
unless
straight into it.
unless he has something good to say.
Alright, no, let's get straight into it. So
Oh, absolutely.
we'll be kind of summarizing between the 3 seasons, right? The likes, the dislikes. We'll give it a rating.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to do rating by season or rating as a whole?
Rating by season. I think that'll tell.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, season 1, what are you giving it?
Season 1, I'm giving. I'm saying like an 8. 8 out of 10.
8?
I think it was.
I'm giving
up
it a
there.
9.
Yeah, I would agree. It's up there for what it was and what it was introducing for something that we've never seen before. It's up there. I mean, it was like, oh wow, this really got me.
I think season 1 did a great job of showing like exactly what if was about, like all these different sides of it, and definitely bringing a weird team of Avengers together to do the impossible. I thought that was great. It shows the Watcher breaking his oath and stuff. I definitely loved watching this. The reason I said a 9 over anything is just simply because I think it did a great job, but the things it failed at, right? I don't think the zombies had enough attention, in my opinion. Like, yes, like there's only so much you can do, and they're coming out with a zombies TV show now. But it's like that was a whole universe you could have explored more.
Right.
And you guys fought on that universe. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And like, where does Black Widow go from there? You know, like when you dropped her off at this different universe, but it's like, what's going on in that universe? Like, you gave us no backstory. You just gave us the backstory that Widow's dead in their universe. So those are the only 2 things I have to complain about for the first season. Other than that, I thought it was great.
For me, in season 1, I saw what would ultimately ruin the rest of the seasons. I rated an 8 because my biggest critique and the thing that I knew was going to happen is that they were going to recycle the same characters over and over and over again. Never introduce anybody new, never signal to anybody new, never anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew it from there. That's why I gave it an 8, because I was like, we've seen these characters. Okay, what if this happened? That's cool. Can we, like, what if mutants existed? What if the Fantastic Four was here? I mean, I think it was a time when they didn't have him yet.
Yep.
But, okay, what if the Nova Corps or Nova
what if,
came out?
Spider-Man, there's...
Can we, what if, more interesting stories rather than,
Yeah, no, I definitely
but
agree.
I do put it up there because it did have an interesting storyline.
Yeah.
It's just I knew from the moment I saw it, because of the way they were going through each episode, I was like, this is going to get old because they're just going to keep recycling the same characters that we've already seen over and over and over again.
Yeah, I think that was my issue.
Yeah.
Like, when we got into season 2, it felt really Captain Carter heavy.
Yeah. And what do you rate season 2?
Season 2, I'm dropping that down to like a 6.
Really?
Like maybe a 5, to be honest. Okay, so like, yeah, I thought the storyline was great. Like, I think like when we look at it as a separate entity, I think that cool. It builds on each other. It's cool like that. But that's not what If's supposed to do.
Yeah.
What If's supposed to show me all these new characters. It's supposed to show me all these new possibilities. It's not supposed to make Captain Carter the heroine of every universe and every story.
Okay.
You know? And then like it undoes, like Doctor Strange gets completely undone. Like his whole thing was redemption in the first in the first season. It's undone in the second one. And like Cowdy was in my opinion, Cowdy was the best thing in that season.
Really?
Hands down. That, like her and Hella's story were probably my two favorite stories.
Okay.
That's it.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm rating season 2 the same as season 1. I'm saying it's an 8. I don't bring it down because I know a lot of people didn't like it. I liked them focusing on Captain Carter.
Really?
That
long?
I did because it gave the story substance. It didn't feel random. It didn't feel like, what's going on here? Let's just jump to a whole different person. Whatever. It gave it substance where it's like, this is your protagonist. This is your person that you're rooting for. and they're like going through these universes. I didn't mind it because it gave me somebody to root for.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just random. It didn't feel like.
But isn't what
You
it's
know-
supposed to be random? Like, that's the whole premise of it, no?
It is if you are going to actually take the risk of using characters.
Yeah.
If you're going to take the risk of being like, okay, let's start introducing like Namor in his universe, and what if Namor beat the Black Panther? It's that stuff, but you're not going to do that. You're too scared to do that. Then give me a protagonist to root for. Give me somebody to be like, I want to see this person win,
Okay, yeah.
and they did, and that's why I liked it.
Okay. I definitely see where you're coming from with that. I definitely agree with that. Sorry for walking away. My daughter was playing with wrapping paper.
You could probably hear it.
Yeah, you probably heard it. Yeah, Menace to Society while we're recording. Now, season 3. This is the bane of my existence.
Yeah, I think we could both just agree on this one.
I think season 3, like, if I had season 2 out of 6, that dropped the bitch down to like a 4.
Yeah, absolutely.
I definitely did not like the recycling of characters. The Howard the Duck story pissed me off so much.
Yeah,
Turning
yeah.
Agatha into a musical thing was so dumb. I get her strive for power.
Yeah.
Like, I guess that was character oriented, the same thing. But it was random.
Yeah.
It was so disgusting.
Yeah.
I did not like anything of season 3. Actually, the one thing I probably liked is fucking the Winter Soldier story.
Yeah.
That was probably the one storyline I was like, okay, I can get behind this.
Yeah.
Other than that, this was gross.
Other than the fact that you're giving stories that like nobody really cared about. I didn't care about Agatha's movie. I made that very blunt. Or TV
TV
show.
show, yep.
I made that very clear when we did our review on that.
Yeah.
I did not care for it. Did not think it was good at all. But I do think, and the same thing. I did not care for the Duck. Howard the Duck. And Darcy having a child
That
together.
was so dumb.
Weird, super weird. The missed opportunity of having Hulk, World War Hulk,
Oh my god. Yeah, when he fought like the
and he just
Gamma Beast.
and he just became like what, a kaiju or something.
Yeah. And like what? The Avengers died? Like,
Yeah.
who was building your stuff?
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Sherry's probably one of the smartest people on this planet. She is not taking on. She's gonna protect Wakanda, not the world. That is what Wakanda does.
Absolutely.
So like, that was dumb. Oh, I lied. There's one more story I like. The Riri Williams one. When her world was dying and like she's the only hope.
I like that one.
story.
I like that one.
You
If she
introduced a
becomes, like,
character
the
that
Vision.
like no one knows that much about.
Yeah,
You brought in
yeah.
a storyline that was crazy.
Yeah.
Like that is what if is all
Yeah.
about. That is literally the essence of what this show was supposed to be
And
about.
so my whole thing now with that is the fact that I think somebody needs to tell Marvel this. Every idea isn't a good idea.
yeah.
Marvel needs to hear this. Every idea is not a good idea. You have had multiple bad ideas. Multiple bad ideas. And yet you choose to still put a budget and money and all of that into it. And it's just like, what are you doing? You're one, messing up the character, ruining the character. Two, giving us stories that we don't care about, nor do we want to hear. And three, making us not like Marvel, like at all. Because the Agatha was not good. The Darcy and Howard the Duck, not good. And I know there's people that are defending it, saying, "Oh, it was to introduce a cosmic character." You have characters. I don't
Like,
and
what happened to the Beyonder? What happened
Yeah.
to the Living Tribunal?
Yeah.
Like, why can't we talk about the Fantastic Four? Why can't we talk about Franklin Richards? Why can't we talk about, like, the Phoenix? Why
Yeah.
can't we talk about, like, all these characters who already exist?
Yeah.
Why can't we do the storyline where Doctor Doom is the Sorcerer Supreme?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you guys probably didn't know that. Maybe because Marvel's not giving it to you.
Yeah.
Like-
And it's like this blatant choice to know what the audience wants and then to choose to not do it. To choose to be like, I'm good. Because in all reality, we know what's in Marvel. We know who exists in the Marvel universe. It's not a secret. It's not like this is the first time ever that we're seeing like these characters be introduced. Like, we have comic books, we've seen them in other iterations, and the fact that you brought Storm in and never casted a live action Storm tells me, hey, we're willing to show you new characters that don't have a live action counterpart to them. You did that with Storm. And the voice actors for some of these characters aren't even the voice actors in the live action thing. So what are we holding back? What are we holding back? That doesn't make sense to me. You have fantastic characters. You could have had a whole Venom war.
Honestly,
a whole
all right,
Venom
so
war.
we're talking about missed opportunities, right? For like things that Marvel didn't cover, right? We're talking about anything in Venom Wars. We're talking about the Young Avengers. You could have had a whole episode dedicated to Young Avengers. Right, you could have had a whole episode dedicated to Iron Wars. You could have had a whole dedicated episode to Civil War.
Yeah.
Like, what if it would have went the way the comic books went?
Yeah.
You know, like, what if it would have went the way the games went?
What if you wrote something people
Like-
actually cared about?
Like, there's so many characters in this realm that they have, right? And they're not using them. Like, I get it. I do get it. You want to use people that we've seen in movies because this is something that's oriented in that direction. I get it. I do. But as a viewer and as someone who like I have a subscription with the Marvel app to read the comics and stuff, I can speak for a lot of viewers and a lot of comic book folk. Just reusing the same characters and not doing anything with them doesn't help anything. Like, we're watching a duck baby be born. Why not we watch like something like the Contest of the Champions?
Yeah.
Or how about I watch What If Abomination won the fight?
Yeah.
Or how about I watch What If Peter Parker died and Miles Morales, because I don't know who Miles is, which is sad. He's one of the best Spider-Men to exist.
And
Right?
it's not a concern of like, oh, but we haven't casted the person, or we don't know if we want to introduce the person. That's not the concern, because you are, in all reality, you are going to introduce them eventually.
Eventually, yeah.
And guess what? The Fantastic Four, the last one we saw, John Krasinski was the main actor for him, and now it's Pedro Pascal. And you're telling me you couldn't throw a Reed Richards or a whole Fantastic Four into the What If? Like, if you're going to do a What If story,
Do it the right way.
you need to be willing and daring enough to start talking about characters that aren't in the live action.
And that's the thing. It's like, it's not that hard. This is animated. We're not talking about like live action.
Yeah.
We're not talking about like, oh, we gotta pay for special effects and all that. We're talking about this is animated, man. Like, we've seen animations from like early 90s that did a better job of crossing and showing characters than you did. Like the Spider-Man from the 90s, X-Men 97. We got freaking Static Shock. Static Shock brought in the Justice League.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, it's so easy to cross, you know, to introduce new names. The Justice League Unlimited did that all the time. So it's like, I don't get where the barrier is that you think you can't introduce these people. Like, you could have done a whole episode on what if Deadpool kills Marvel Universe. Guess what? Who cares? This is a TV show that, yes, is wild, kid oriented, right? So is all comic books. Comic books show people dying all the time. Okay? So there's no way to stop this.
You know you messed up when the people watching this were like, I would have rather watched one episode of how Storm ended up with Thor's power and Mjolnir than I would trade in 3 of the What If episodes to just watch that one. That one that was there. And this isn't the first time, because there was one where they did it, with the Gamora storyline, where they did it in season 1, straight up.
They put her for
chose
no
not
reason.
to put her in. And people were like, what the hell? I wanted to see that.
Which, like, when we got her storyline and stuff like that, I was like, all right, cool. So now I get it. But at the same time, I was like, this sucked. Because I'm like, Tony was like, he was smart but dumb.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck's going on here? And then Gamora is like, if you could jump up and kill Thanos at any point, why didn't you just do that?
Yeah.
Like, you underplayed Thanos so much. Like she was the Titan killer, you know? Like, they hyped her up so much in season 1. All she did was jump and stab him.
I mean,
So, like,
you have the the tools to be the greatest because these stories were written years in advance before this was even adapted to
and they were so
TV.
refined. Like they
like,
were.
It's to the point where you can literally look up the popularity of these comics throughout the years by like the sales point and like the attention it gets, like the popularity of all of these, because there's so many, yet you choose. And I hate it when Marvel does it, and I hate it when DC does it. You choose to create new characters that nobody asked for. Nobody asked for. Can we get the Marvel Universe first before we start putting in people like that you just decided to make, like the native girl and like the Howard the Duck's daughter? Can we get Ghost Rider first? Can we get the full Fantastic Four interacting with the Avengers first?
Nah, I definitely think that, like, you know, like, while I do love Cali's story. I thought that was a great story. Like, we have so much in, like, you guys have so much in the safe, in the warehouse when it comes to like heroes, especially of her level.
Yeah,
like, you guys have so much. So it's like when you guys pull like it's like you're trying to pull a rabbit out of a hat.
Yeah.
When you have like a lion, a tiger, and like goats all behind you and stuff.
Like, just stop creating your own characters. They're already made for you.
You know,
use them.
I definitely wish, like, there's so much more that, like, even with the characters they have introduced in like the cinematic universe, like, we didn't get a story on Black Panther as much as we wanted to, right? Because of Chadwick Boseman dying, right? We could have evaluated on that. We could have gotten more of, like, there's been a Black Panther in almost every season, right? So why couldn't we get, like, a storyline? Just, like, a dedicated day, like, for one of the old Black Panthers.
Yeah.
Or, like, an actual, like what T'Challa is supposed to be like.
Right.
You know? Or why don't we get freaking, like, a Namor storyline? Like, an actual Namor storyline. Not, like, the way they introduced them. Or why don't we get, like, freaking an X-Men?
Yeah.
Why don't we get, like, Professor X taking control? Like, saying, fuck this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, why don't... Like, I don't get it. Because even, like, when they did the whole Riri Williams storyline...
Yeah.
The robots he was using looked like... you know, what are they called? The Sentinels.
Sentinels?
Oh, Sentinels. They look like the Sentinels from X-Men. So, like, you could use the robots, but you can't, like... do anything else.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a genuine choice from Marvel to just
and then, like,
not
they had White
make
Vision
stories. Yeah.
Yo, but like, you guys are just throwing shit.
Yep.
Like, Mysterio took control of White Vision.
Yeah. I don't know, but I mean, honestly, that's our point of views on all of these, because from seasons 1, 2, and 3 for What If, I don't know if they'll get a season 4. If they do, there's not really that much hope for it, honestly, at this point.
My only hope, right, with them having all the rights back, right? My hope is, if we're gonna be character oriented, right, give me a Spider-Man. Yeah. Give me Spider-Man leading the charge through the multiverse. He has done this, right? He has gone through the multiverse multiple times. TV shows, comic books, he has done that, right? So then we'll be able to see Miles Morales. We'll be able to see different rogues. We'll be able to see the Ghost Spider. We'll be able to see, like, Miguel O'Hare. Like, it'll basically be like, right, you know, be in the Spider-Verse, right? Give me that for the next season. Redeem yourself. And then we can talk about, like, different characters to get into.
Right.
But, like, until then, please just use the comics. Like, there's so many great stories that people are so ignorant to reading that they don't know about. Yeah. But, I mean, this is what we have now until they make a change. So, you let us know what you think in the comments, and we'll keep telling you what we think. But until then, keep it frosty.